So we are only 2 days away from the official launch of Ghost of Tsushima, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on this game, my first impressions on what I felt and what I've learned about this game when our reviewer got to play the early copy. Now I've seen a ton of gameplay, hours and hours of gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima when our reviewer played it, and I have a ton of raw gameplay footage which I will be uploading on my channel in a few hours because we are not allowed to share all of those footage until July 16th according to the embargo. So I want to start off my impression on Ghost of Tsushima with the graphics and visuals. Now when I saw Ghost of Tsushima for the first ever time, the only thing that came to my mind was that this game is extremely beautiful. Be that in terms of visuals and graphics, and especially the particle effects in the nature is mind-blowing. Now I can guarantee you guys that you will have a jaw-dropping visual experience like no other games of this generation. Now one of my most favorite parts about this game was when you ride across the Kishi grasslands during the night times, especially when the moon is at its peak and you can actually see these fireflies all around you, and the atmosphere has this beautifully well done thin fog visual effect that reflects off the moonlight. And once you start running around the fields, you can actually hear these insects all around you, and also with the Japanese music playing in the background, man, this game feels extremely unreal. Now I can assure you that Ghost of Tsushima will be one of the best looking games you might have ever played in the current generation open world games. Now of course the graphics does not look realistic by any means at all. Now it is pretty clear that the game is not trying to go for that realistic graphics. Now the textures feels more like semi-cartoony rather than it being realistic. But I guess this is how Sucker Punch have visioned their game to be. They wanted it to look more unrealistically beautiful and colorful so that players could get immersed into this virtual world rather than getting the textures to look extremely realistic. Now that we have spoken about the visuals, let's move on to the open world exploration and all the side quests and activities. Now the open world design in Ghost of Tsushima is completely unique in its own ways. Now as far as what I got to see, the open world in Tsushima has all unique locations, meaning that you will never see a copy-pasted world asset like the same buildings or different location that looks exactly the same as the ones you previously visited, unlike what we have seen in many other open world games which had a ton of copy and pasted assets throughout the entire map in order to make the map look much bigger and large in size. Now in terms of size though, the map of Ghost of Tsushima is insanely large, and the fact that Sucker Punch have created unique locations throughout the entire map is astonishing, and it only shows on how dedicated the team has worked on this game. So now that we have spoken about all the good parts about this game, I also want to address all the bad parts as well. Now as far as what I've seen, the game has some terrible voice synchronization with animations. Now our reviewer tried to play the game in the Japanese language and also tried out the English language later, and both the language seem to have some really bad lip sync, and the facial expression with the voice of the characters are completely off. And sometimes it could also get to a point where you might end up losing the character immersion. Now I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen all the cutscenes throughout the entire game because I wanted to stay away from the spoilers as I was not playing the game. But I even asked the reviewer if the other parts of the game's cutscenes do improve or not. Now I don't know the entire story of the game, but I do know what the basic concept is from what the reviewer explained, and according to the reviewer though, the story is just average and it kind of has that cliche take towards it, and the game started off extremely slow, but then as you play more through the story, it apparently starts to pick the pace up. Now let's move on and talk about the side missions and open world activities. Now as far as what I've seen from hours and hours of gameplay, the side missions were really basic. Like for example, I saw one of these side quests where Jin goes into an abandoned house and then we see a woman in the house crying because the bandits had robbed her food supplies. So then she ends up asking Jin to go find the bandits and get the stolen loots back. And you also kind of get this dialogue option on whether you want to help this lady or maybe not. It's up to the player's choice, and if you end up choosing to help these people, then it is pretty much a normal fetch quest where you go kill the bandits and retrieve all the stolen supplies, and then you go back to the lady and give her the supplies, and then she tells Jin that these supplies are not hers and that she basically lied to Jin in order to make him go get her supplies because she was too scared to go out there and make a living for herself. And then Jin gets pretty upset about it, and that's pretty much the side quest. Now, most of the side quests that I've seen in the gameplay consist of someone being captured by the Mongols or by the bandits, and Jin has to just go save them or even retrieve some of those stolen goods, or even go explore and find some interesting stuff in the open world. And I do agree that some side missions are really fun to do, but at the same time, most of them what I've seen so far seems to be pretty basic compared to all the other open world games. Now, if some of you guys are expecting to see side missions on a level of Witcher 3, then I would say that you're just trying to hope for too much, and it would be better if you guys kind of have a low expectation towards how the side missions works. But the one thing I really loved about these side missions are the rewards in exploring and completing your side quest are really good in Ghost of Tsushima. Now, you can find a ton of unique items and collectibles, and while you're on your quest journey, you will also come across some of the foxes who will guide you to the point of interest in the maps. But there seems to also be issues with the birds in the game, where sometimes the bird starts flying into places where it is almost impossible for Jin to travel. And to be honest, this of course is not a big issue in the game, but at the same time, I'm also sure that these small bugs might get fixed with the day 1 patch. Now, one of the biggest letdowns in Ghost of Tsushima is the cutscenes and camera angles during the side quests and random activities. Now, as far as what I've seen, the cutscenes were horrible dog shit when it comes to side missions in this game. Now, let's say when you start talking to a character, the game's camera kind of moves extremely far away from the characters. And when I say far away, I mean really far away. And the reason they did this is to basically cover up the fact that these cutscenes have absolutely no character animations. Now, from what I've seen, these characters don't even talk or don't even move. Now, both Jin and the NPC stand in one particular position and they basically start staring at each other while you hear the voices of these characters speaking, and you can also see the subtitles on the screen in order to know what is happening in that cutscene. And to be honest, that completely takes away any immersion you have invested into the game, and this might kind of make you feel like the side missions are boring because you don't even get to see anything happening other than two characters staring at each other. Now, I don't know if this is going to remain the same for all the side missions in the game or not. As far as what I've seen, the side missions had terrible camera angles and absolutely no cutscenes at all. Now, I found this really funny on how people were complaining about how bad the character animations were in Assassin's Creed Valhalla during these side quest cutscenes, and some of them in the comments even said that Ghost of Tsushima is going to be better in that aspect. And I couldn't say anything about it due to the embargo restrictions, but I'm telling you now, as far as what I have seen from the gameplay, this was by far one of the worst cutscenes I've ever seen in any open world games. Now, I hope that they either fix this with a day 1 patch, or maybe the other side missions that I did not get to see might have been better maybe, and I just hope they do something in order to fix these issues in the game. Because this is surely going to be one of the biggest turn down factor for a lot of people who are expecting big things from the side missions in Ghost of Tsushima. Now, moving on to the next thing, the reviewer also said that the game only has one weapon that Jin will use throughout the entire game, which is going to be Jin's main weapon, which is inherited from his family, the katana. You'll also have two different bows in the game, one being the short bow and the other being the long bow, and also this really cool throwing kunais, which seems like a lot of fun to play with. But the enemies in the game will have different types of weapons, and players will only be able to upgrade the same katana as you play through the entire game. Now, another very disappointing factor is that the game does not have a new game plus feature. So you will not be able to replay the game with your saved progression, so replayability feature in Ghost of Tsushima is not available. Now, these are my first impressions on Ghost of Tsushima, and also note that this is not my actual review because I still have to play the game before I put my reviews out on the channel, but our reviewer has uploaded the review on the official Spiel Times channel, and also check out the Spiel Times blog post where you can read the in-depth description of the reviewer's experience with Ghost of Tsushima. I'll leave the review links down below in the description, so make sure you guys go check that out. Now, if you guys are looking for a YouTube channel that covers Ghost of Tsushima content, then you should make sure to go subscribe to my channel and turn that notifications on so you don't miss out on my daily uploads. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to leave a like, as your support can really help me out. And I will also be announcing the giveaway winner of Ghost of Tsushima tomorrow on my Twitter page. So make sure you guys go follow me there for all the upcoming giveaway announcements and all the latest information and updates as well. With that being said, I hope you guys have a blast every day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Till then, take care fams, and goodbye.